We just wrapped up our Q4 2022 and year-end 2022 earnings call, and we wanted to take a moment and address some of the questions that you all had and shared with us on Twitter. So first, we had an exciting announcement today around a partnership with Hyliion Motors, where we're going to be co-developing a fuel cell vehicle. So as some of you are probably aware, Hyliion is one of the leaders in producing fuel cell technology. And on Hyliion's roadmap, we've had a fuel cell solution as part of our trajectory for a long time now. And so the announcement was we're going to jointly work together to develop a initial development vehicle that'll incorporate a Hyliion fuel cell solution as well as the Hypertruck powertrain, and we'll be incorporating that into a Peterbilt chassis. So we're excited about this development and getting our initial fuel cell solution out on the road, and hopefully you guys see the benefits of that as well. So first question we had was, how is winter testing going? So we touched a little bit on this during the earnings call, but we've been really pleased with how the testing has been going thus far. We have seen some failures, but the reality is with testing, you want to see failures. You want to push the product to the limits where you see what the weak points are. So we have seen some, but nothing has been too big of a hurdle for us. We've been able to overcome them. We've taken it in stride and be able to make changes to the product in order to continue to improve it. And that actually leads us into the second question is, do you have any changes in the timeline? And Jon, you want to take that one?
Sure. As we discussed today in our earnings presentation, we are on track to commercialize the Hypertruck ERX later this year. We checked off another milestone on our roadmap that we started, I think it was back in the end of 2021. This is the 5th consecutive quarter that we are on track to hitting our milestones, and we'll be commercializing the truck in late this year.
So the next question we had was, when can we expect certifications to be complete? So we are in the middle of the certification process right now. Our engineering team is working on it daily, and we expect that in the second half of this year, we will complete the certification processes. Now, as a reminder, it's CARB certification, EPA certification, as well as NHTSA. And so we expect to complete those second half of this year, and that puts us on track for start of production in late 23. So next question was, what are your projections for hybrid as you ramp up your ERX powertrain production? Jon, you want to take that?
Sure. So we reported for the fourth quarter that we generated $1.1 million of hybrid revenue, and that we expect that to continue in 2023 at about the same pace that we saw on a quarterly average last year, so about $500,000 a quarter of hybrid revenue. We have a lot of orders that we plan to fulfill during the year. I think as we start to get towards the end of the year and commercialization of the Hypertruck ERX, that we'll start to see that fall off a little bit, but we have another strong year of hybrid sales plan.
All right, next question was, what sort of supply chain issues are you facing? So, over the past year, over a year, supply chain has been a big hurdle. Thankfully, we are starting to see it ease some. We're seeing suppliers able to hit the timelines they gave us, or in some instances, reduce the timeframes they've given us on lead time. The next thing that we're going to be working on is through this process of the supply chain mayhem, let's call it, a lot of suppliers added surcharges to their components. As we go forward, one of the big challenges that we're putting on the team is we want to work with our supply base to reduce those surcharges to bring the component costs down more to levels that they used to be. So we'll be working on that, but I don't see that supply chain is something that's going to delay us at this point. We've done a great job at pre-ordering the components that we need for start of production. So the next question was, will the ERX qualify for CARB HVIP incentives? So unfortunately, this is one of the incentives out there that the ERX does not qualify for. HVIP is specifically dedicated towards BEV vehicles as well as fuel cell vehicles. So while the ERX won't qualify, as we announced today, the Hyliion integration, we would need to go through some certification processes, but we would expect that type of a vehicle would qualify for HVIP. Next question was, can you help us understand the full ERX scaling model? So great question. Is kind of, late this year we start production. The plan will be that we have capacity within our four walls here to do hundreds of vehicles. As we then continue to scale and grow, we'll utilize mod centers, and actually we're looking at even pulling in the start of using mod centers potentially even earlier to help us with assembling the technology. And mod centers are great for kind of hundreds into thousands of units. Then as we go thousands and onwards, that's when you really get pulled into the OEM production line, and you're a online solution offered by the OEM. And that would be when we're selling the powertrain directly to the OEM for them to do the install. So the next one, which is a financial question, is how do you feel about your capital position? So John, you want to take that?
Yeah. Let me summarize that and what we said today. So we ended 2022 with $422 million of available capital. We also gave some guidance today that we expect to spend somewhat less than $200 million during this year. Part of that's operating expenses, and part of it is us ramping up buying parts for the first trucks that we're going to commercialize late in the year. So that'll leave us north of $225 million roughly next year as a minimum. So we're in great position. We have no needs and no expectations of raising any capital this year, so we feel very good about our capital position.
All right, then a couple of questions on KARNO. So the first one was, in the future, can we have charging stations run by RNG using your technology? So absolutely. This is something we're exploring heavily. We see KARNO as not only a fantastic solution to go in the vehicle to offer a fuel agnostic solution, but it also can be used for stationary power. And one of the exciting things is that the certification for stationary power is actually much faster than the certification for going into a vehicle. So this is an avenue that we're going to be pursuing heavily. And we do see chargers as a great application for the stationary use case. So to give you an example, like there's a massive push going on right now to put more EV chargers out there. People are running into the issues that the grid can't support the power levels that these chargers are needing. So we could work with the charger companies and deploy a KARNO generator or multiple KARNO generators along with the chargers, and then we would be the power supply into those chargers when someone goes and plugs in their EV vehicle. Well, that concludes the questions that we got from you guys. Appreciate you giving us some insights of what you were wondering. Hopefully this added some color to it, and we look forward to continuing the dialogue next quarter, as well as for those who are interested, we're going to be hosting an Investor Day in late June, so please stay tuned for that as well. Thank you.